Hello and welcome to We Live in a Society. This section will feature cultural stories from countries from all over the world. The first episode will feature one of my best friends, Ibi, who's Persian, from Iran, who's lived in Australia now for 4 years. And so he'll be talking in this episode about one of the biggest cultural and religious traditions in the Persian Empire, in the Middle East, which is Ramadan.
Hi everyone, my name is Ebrahim. I'm from Iran, ethnically Persian. I've been living here in Newcastle, Australia for 5 years, but I actually was born and grew up actually in southwest of Iran, in Ahwaz, Khuzestan state, and did my bachelor there and then moved to the capital, Tehran, to do my master's. And then I'm here in Australia to continue my education. The next thing I want to talk about is Ramadan. So Ramadan is a religious actually event where people do fasting. So that means that people start actually the day with sahar, which is actually before the sunrise. They have something and then stop eating until the sun sets. So the whole actually the time of the day, they don't eat or they don't drink anything. And then at the end of the day, sun sets time, they actually start eating, and that is called iftari. So this is really actually important, especially for those religious people, and it's been part of our culture in the last actually centuries. So the reason of doing Ramadan is actually regardless that this is actually compulsory for religious people, there are some reasons and ideas behind it. First of all, you stop eating, which is sort of sympathizing with poor people. Second is actually you try to train your body, and another reason is to experiencing the hardship and physical difficulties and things like that, and that makes you to improve your soul and improve. The third reason of doing Ramadan is the health benefits of it. So according to some actually scientific facts, it's good for the body to fast a proportion of the day. And then at the end of the month, we celebrate the ending of the month by donating, which is a good part of it. So Ramadan is 1 month, and it actually changes during the actually the years. It's just it happens at different seasons, and it comes forward actually 10 days per year. So there isn't a fixed time for that because it's according to the Mona calendar. Yeah, that's it about Ramadan.
Yep. So back in 2016, I decided to actually do Ramadan with Ibi in support of him because he'd only recently arrived in the country, and I just thought I'd do it to support him and help him adjust to Australian life while I learnt a bit about his culture. So despite the fact that I'm not Muslim, I chose to do Ramadan for reasons three. First, for the discipline. I wanted to do something that was going to be difficult with a lot of temptations to see if I could stick it out to sort of increase my character, my inner strength, my discipline, I thought it would be a really good challenge. So that was one reason. Second reason was, I guess, compassion. I wanted to empathize with people who don't have access to food and who go hungry and don't have access to fresh or clean water. So I thought that would be a good experience to increase my empathy. And the third reason was because at the end of Ramadan, you do something charitable. And so I believe, like, you know, helping other people is the key to happiness. So I thought it would be a really good experience overall. So in 2016, Ramadan was in June in Australia. So it was winter. So that worked out really well for me because there were very short time between sunrise and sunset. And one of the things I like about Ramadan is that every year the start date changes by 10 days. So that throughout the years, you experience Ramadan through every season. And I was lucky that it was in winter. I don't know how I would do it in summer with the really long daylight hours. So first morning of Ramadan, I woke up, I think it was the 7th of June. I woke up at like 4:30 a.m. and decided to like gorge myself stupid because I figured, you know, I can't eat all day. I need the calories and, you know, to get me through the day. That turned out to be a really poor choice because I just felt bloated and ill. Normally I just have coffee for breakfast. So I just felt really apathetic and it was not a good choice. And also, I couldn't go back to sleep. Like, I woke up at 4:30. There was no getting back to sleep at that point. So I just went into work. Luckily, I was at that point in time a postdoctoral research scientist at a university, so I could make my own hours. But that first couple of days, I gotta say, the first couple of days was like absolute hell. I was just tired and hungry and just wasn't so much necessarily the hunger, it was more the thirst. Like, it was just really hard. And I was counting down the hours until sunset at 5 o'clock, which was really lucky. So it wasn't too long of a day, and I couldn't wait to have iftar. So iftar is the breaking of the fast, usually with like water and dates. So I really want to thank Ibi for keeping me in constant supply of dates during the Ramadan period and for providing me with many iftars. And my partner Josh also did Ramadan with us. So I want to thank him as well because, like, on some of the harder days, you know, there was that moral support, you know, for someone who isn't of Muslim background and used to doing Ramadan. So just to have someone who's going through the exact situation that you are was really helpful because we could relate to each other and help each other through it. I think probably the hardest days was when we went camping. I went camping with my mates up on Broken Back Mountain. And, you know, like, I had a lot of beers. The next morning I was hungover as fuck and all I wanted was like water and like fat. I just wanted like Macca's cheeseburgers or a bacon sandwich. It was fucking hell, like not being able to eat until sunset. That was a really shit day. Second was when I went to Supernova in Sydney, just because just walking around all day in a confined space with so many people, and it was just stifling hot, and I couldn't drink any water. That was a really tough day. Constant headache that entire day. All my family, my friends, my lab group, they were all taking bets on the date at which I would crack and give up and eat. And, you know, they'd always come in with their delicious smelling lunches or, you know, their coffee at 4 o'clock and, you know, like just try and get me to give up, but I didn't. And I'm happy to say for that entire month, between sunrise and sunset, not a single morsel of food or molecule of water went into my mouth. And it was a great experience to go through it with Ivy and just to learn more about Iranian culture along the way. And we broke iftar a lot of the time with other Middle Eastern people, so it was really great because I got to try lots of new foods. And yeah, it was just a really enjoyable experience, and I actually physically just felt a lot better. Like, I just felt better, not like fasting and only eating for certain periods throughout the day. I slept better. The only downside is that, you know, I'm a very active person, so for that month I wasn't able to go hiking on weekends or really do any kind of physical activity while the sun was shining, because it just, you know, you can't do that without water. So that was limiting in terms of, you know, the things that I could do. But other than that, yeah, it was a great experience.